Good morning, everyone. I am Krista Andecastro, and today I am going to discuss the amicable settlement of disputes. But before we dive into the discussion, let me first ask a question for you to reflect on. Have you ever experienced a situation where a disagreement was resolved through peaceful negotiation rather than through formal legal action? Thank you for reflecting on that question. Disputes are a natural part of human interactions, whether in our personal lives, workplaces, or communities. However, not every disagreement needs to turn into a legal issue. Today, we'll explore the concept of amicable settlements, which focus on resolving conflicts through communication, understanding, and cooperation. Now, let's begin by defining what we mean by an amicable settlement. Amicable settlement refers to a settlement in which both parties are satisfied. It is a settlement that does not sour the relations between the parties to the dispute. Instead, the parties sort out the matters in a friendly and polite manner without the need for litigation or a formal dispute resolution process. So this means amicable settlement is a way for two parties who have disagreement to come to an agreement in a friendly and respectful way. So the goal is that both sides feel satisfied with the outcome. Instead of going to a court or having a formal argument, amicable settlement allows people to discuss their issues in a polite manner. This can happen through conversations, negotiations, or other form of communication. It's all about finding common ground and understanding each other. Additionally, this method is part of what we call the interest-based approach. This means that during the discussion, both parties share their interests and needs. By doing this, they can better understand their own rights and responsibilities as well as the other person. On the other hand, dispute refers to a disagreement or conflict between two or more parties, often regarding a particular issue, claim, or course of action. Disputes can arise in various contexts, including personal relationships, business dealings, legal matters, and international relations. After defining the two, what is amicable settlement of disputes? So, when we talk about resolving disputes amicably, we mean finding a way to settle these disagreements peacefully. Instead of fighting or going to court, the parties involved can talk it out, listen to each other, and work together to find a solution that everyone is happy with. So, in short, disputes or conflict or disagreements, an amicable settlement are friendly ways to solve those conflicts without anger or hostility. Now, in relation to that, we will be talking about Katarungang Pambarangay, or also known as the Barangay Justice System. This is a local system here in the Philippines used to settle disputes at the barangay level before they go to the regular courts. Each barangay is led by a barangay captain that works with a group called the Lupong Tagapamayapa, which is made up of residents chosen to help resolve conflicts. This system doesn't act like a regular court, instead, they act more like mediators, helping people solve their problems through discussions and agreements. So, how was the Katarungan Pambarangay formed? It was formed by Presidential Decree 1508, where disputes or disagreements within families and communities are first settled at the barangay level. This is a traditional way of resolving problems through amicable settlement, meaning people are encouraged to resolve issues peacefully and without needing legal action right away. The law was primarily written by Alfredo Flores Tadior, who made sure that before someone can go to court, They must first try to resolve their problem through this barangay level process known as the Katarungang Pambarangay. For over 12 years, he helped guide the operations of the system, which aimed to make dispute resolution simpler and more accessible for local communities. Under this system, a group called the Lupong Tagapayapa or the Peacekeeping Council is responsible for helping settle disputes. Later on, the Presidential Decree 1508 was replaced by the Local Government Code of 1991, which is now the Republic Act number 7160, but the idea of settling disputes at the barangay level remains. What is the essence of Katarungang Pambarangay Law? So, the main goal of Katarungang Pambarangay Law is to help people resolve their disagreements peacefully. Instead of going to court, the law encourages parties to work together and find a compromise that make both sides happy. This means they should be open to giving up some of their claims for a fair solution. It's important that their agreements follow the law and respect moral values and community. Now, let's proceed to the methods of amicable settlement of disputes. The number one is the negotiation. This is when two or more people talk to each other to find a solution that works for everyone. Number two is the mediation. Mediation is a process where a neutral person called a mediator helps the two parties talk and find a solution. The mediator doesn't make decisions for them. Instead, they guide the conversation so that both sides feel heard and understood. The third one will be the conciliation. Conciliation is similar to mediation, but it often involves a conciliator who tries to encourage the parties to settle their differences. The conciliator suggests ideas to help them reach an agreement but does not impose any solutions. The fourth one is the arbitration. Arbitration is a bit different because it involves a third party called an arbitrator who makes a decision about the dispute. This decision is binding, meaning both parties have to follow it, similar to a court ruling. Number 5 will be the repudiation. This is when a one party refuses to accept the terms of contract or debt, which can lead to disputes. Now, let's proceed to the procedure. If a person wants to file a complaint, the first step is to go to the barangay and pay the required fees. Once the payment is made, the barangay will issue a summons to the dependent within 5 days. Upon receiving the summons, the complainant and the dependent will both be called to a mediation process. So, during this mediation, both parties will meet face to face and will be guided by the barangay captain or the lupon tagapamayapa. The role of mediator is to assist the parties in finding a solution on their own. The mediator, who remains neutral, steps in only to calm tensions or facilitate discussions. The aim of this process is for the complainant and dependent to think of a mutually acceptable solution to their dispute. In the mediation process, two outcomes are possible. If there is a settlement or both parties reach an agreement, an amicable settlement will be issued. This document must be signed by both the complainant and dependent as well as the mediator. Witnesses, if present, may also sign. After the amicable settlement is signed, the parties have 10 days to repudiate the agreement, meaning they can request changes if they are not satisfied. Once the 10-day period lapses without repudiation, the barangay secretary will submit the settlement to the municipal trial court. However, if no agreement is reached, The case will proceed to conciliation. Within 3 days, the lupon tagapamayapa must form a pangkat tagapagkasundo which will continue to assist the parties in resolving their dispute. This conciliation process may last between 15 to 30 days. Here, the pangkat can offer suggestions or solutions to the dispute. If a settlement is reached, an amicable settlement will again be issued and submitted to the municipal trial court within 5 days. If no settlement is reached during conciliation, the lupon or pangkat will issue a certificate to file action or the CFA. This document allows the complainant to pursue the case in court. And one of alternative option is the arbitration. During mediation, if no agreement is reached, the complainant and defendant can mutually agree to undergo arbitration. In this process, an arbitrator such as the retired judge, attorney, or qualified professional will mediate the dispute. Both parties will present their evidence and the arbitrator will make a final decision or solution to the conflict, known as the arbitration award. This award is also submitted to the court within 5 days by the barangay secretary. Let's consider a situation involving two neighbors, Mr. Santos and Mrs. Cruz. They live in a quiet barangay. Recently, Mrs. Cruz has been disturbed by the loud music coming from Mr. Santos' house at night. Despite her casual complaint to Mr. Santos, the problem persists, leading her to file an official complaint at the barangay hall. What procedures will Mrs. Cruz go through? Like what I said in the procedure, the first step is for Mrs. Cruz to file her complaint with the barangay captain. She can do this orally or in writing. Then the Lupon secretary will record the complaint and give it a docket number. The Lupon chairman must summon Mr. Santos to meet with Mrs. Cruz and any witnesses within 15 days. This meeting is crucial for mediation, where they try to resolve the issue peacefully. During this first meeting, the barangay captain will facilitate discussions between Mr. Santos and Mrs. Cruz. If they can agree on a solution, the case is considered closed. However, if no agreement is reached within those 15 days, a more formal process will begin. If mediation fails, the next step involves the pangkat, a group that will also try to mediate the dispute. They have another 15 days to resolve the issue, which can be extended by another 15 days if needed. If they reach an agreement or make an arbitration award, the case is closed. But if the pangkat efforts are unsuccessful or if either party rejects their decisions, then the complainant can take the case to the regular judicial system in the Philippines. And these are the advantages of solving disputes amicably. To put it simply, resolving disputes in a friendly way is good because it helps people settle things quickly and without stress. It keeps problems private, which is nice for everyone involved. It can also help people talk better to each other, making their relationship stronger. Plus, when everyone helps decide how to fix the problem, they're usually happier with the solution. So, using amicable ways to settling disputes is a smart choice that benefits everyone. Always remember, it is better to settle disputes amicably than to let them escalate into conflicts. That's all. Thank you.